Hey, yo, what up? Welcome back. There's Not a Podcast. It's Just My Thoughts with Rob Markman. It's Sunday. It's May 4th. It's the 1 year anniversary of Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. I don't have anything to say about it. I don't. I really feel like I've said it all over the past year. Greatest diss record of all time. I imagine we'll talk about it more, when the trial, the Drake versus UMG trial starts. I imagine it'll come up. I may feel moved to talk about it after I go see the GNX tour later this week. But today I don't have much for you. 1 year anniversary. Impact is amazing. Like I don't know that we've ever seen any hip hop artist have a year like how Kendrick has had, and this song, the impact of this song, particularly as a diss song, Super Bowl, 5 Grammy wins, just everything. I don't know, great song. And we're gonna be listening to it for a long time. So I don't have anything to say about Not Like Us. I might have something to say tomorrow about Heart Part 6, about Drake's Heart Part 6. We'll see. I feel like we haven't spent a ton of time with that. I haven't really listened to it since it dropped. So I think tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary of Heart Part 6. So maybe we revisit that tomorrow because I haven't really listened to it. So I might dive into it tonight, make some notes, come back tomorrow, and we just kind of examine how we feel about that a year later, and that'll be fine. But as far as Not Like Us, don't really have anything to say about it, man. But shout out to y'all. Today I wanted to rap with y'all about something else, something more personal. I want to take it a little more personal. I want to give you a bit of who I am, and yeah, I'll give you some backstory as to how I got this idea. Oh, you know what? Let me do a video about who the fuck is Rob Markman, right? A couple days back, I did a video about academics and Brandon Buckingham and them making videos for what I felt like they were inciting violence in this whole Kendrick versus Drake thing. Act with his calling top 5, and then Brandon with going to Toronto and asking K Money, like, what would you say if Kendrick was right here? And then you kind of get like the threats. And so I made a whole video talking about how I felt about that. Brandon actually showed up in the comment section and gave some of his perspective, and actually said that he largely agreed with the video. But just kind of shifted and gave his perspective on it. I didn't attack the guy or never wanted to be mean or nasty. That's just not me. Even if I don't agree with somebody, I'm not gonna like call you out your name and start calling you names. I could disagree with what you do, or I could disagree with how you do without attacking you. That's just my personal style. Unless then it's warranted. If I have to quote unquote, like defend myself in the war of words, then I could do that, and that's fine. But I never meant to personally attack anybody, and I don't think he did. I don't think I did, and I don't think he felt like I did. But I still don't agree with how Brandon does his stuff. But I told him that I respect that he responded, and with the mindset of coming with an open dialogue, and willing to at least see it how I see it, how a lot of y'all in the comment section see it. And he dropped the comment, so I'm like, okay, he's thinking about it. And then I offered my counter perspective, but it wasn't mean or nasty. It wasn't like this, I'm gonna take your head off type thing. That's just not the energy, and that's not the energy he came to me with. Okay, so after that video, the day after, I saw a post on Twitter from Academics TV. Those who follow me on Twitter, y'all can follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. But Academics TV on Twitter. That account is founded and owned by Academics, but he doesn't post on it. So I saw a post on the account that said, and it stemmed from some accent in the live stream, and then the post tried to like synthesize it, but I just didn't get it. The post said, if Nipsey died because he disrespected someone for calling them a snitch, what should Drake do to Kendrick for disrespecting him by lying about him a pedophile? Hashtag West Coast. And my response was, quote tweeted and said, the guy behind this account doesn't come from the neighborhoods we do. Doesn't have to deal with the consequences of violence in the street, but has the most to say. Laughs at death / trauma and cashes a check off of it. Act may not run it, but it bears his name, so he's responsible. And those are just my thoughts at the time. It was an extension of the video. I just didn't understand correlating what happened with Nipsey and then posing the question of what should Drake do to Kendrick for disrespecting him by lying about him being a pedophile. Are you insinuating that Drake should kill Kendrick because of a rap battle, because of something he said? Like, it just, again, I'm not going to get into it. Those of like mind know what I'm getting at. Like, it goes back to that video again. It's like, yo, stirring the pot, instigating the thing, and God forbid something happens. Who's left to pick up the pieces? It's just entertainment. It's just business to you. You are so far removed from this. You know what I'm saying? So that was my response. There was a lot of reaction to that quote tweet that I did. Some who agree with me, many who argue me down because it's the internet, and that's what it's gonna be. And then Academics TV posted this. Who the fuck is this guy? And then a picture of me, which I don't know if it was meant to be a gotcha moment. A picture of me that I posted on the internet myself. Like, so I don't know. So that gave me an idea for an image shot by my man Cortez, man. Shout out to my guy Cortez. I think that was the day. That was definitely the day that we shot the video for one of my songs, The Dakota. But so that gave me the idea for today's video. Who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is Rob Markman? And I was like, oh, that's something cool to talk about with y'all. Not as an answer to the tweet. I don't care if those people know who I am or not. Doesn't matter to me. But y'all come to this channel and y'all support for a year plus now. And we talk a lot in the comments. A lot of y'all that I see all the time, like Veronica shows up every time. I don't know Veronica in real life, but Veronica makes it a point to leave a comment all the time. And James, I'm gonna start getting to naming people. I'm gonna forget people. Ron Stu. Like I could just see the handles now, and I could see the avatars, and I could see the different people. Shout out to all of y'all, man. But so like Veronica was top of mind because Veronica shared something with me, like in the comments that was like kind of really personal, and I see Veronica leave a comment all the time, and I saw, oh, nah, she's really sharing something personal about her life. That's crazy. So the way y'all share with me, I'm down to share with y'all. Like, I really feel like, we get to know each other. So this video is not for the tweet. Gave me the idea for the video. Oh, that's something good to talk about. But it's not for them. It's not to answer that. I would like it. Sometimes my stuff gets clipped off of this channel and shared onto other platforms. I would appreciate it if y'all didn't do that. Because it's not for them. It's just for us. It's just for conversation. I don't care how many clicks or views or whatever this gets. This is just for us. For y'all to get to know me as I'm learning to get to know some of y'all. So Rob Markman, born in Brooklyn. I believe I was born in Bed-Stuy. I asked my parents. I believe it was Bed-Stuy, but I'm pretty sure that the hospital I was born in doesn't exist anymore. But it's either Bed-Stuy or Crown Heights. But raised in Flatbush, like a week maybe after I was born, my parents and my older brother and sister moved to Flatbush. Flatbush, Brooklyn was raised in the 1980s, coming of age in the 90s. Like by 90, I'm like 10 years old. I'm really going outside by myself, 10, 11 years old, like really, really exploring the borough and the world around me. I'm mixed. This is the part that drives people crazy. Is about what is he? Oh shit, that drives people crazy. And a lot of times I don't even talk about it because it's funny to me because I know who I am but I see how it really drives people crazy when they can't pinpoint what box to put you in. But I'm mixed. My mom is black. My mom is Afro-Latina. She's from uptown Harlem. She used to live with her grandparents at the time. From what I understand, they lived in Spanish Harlem, but my mother grew up in the Bronx. So, my whole mother's side of the family is from Harlem and the Bronx. Black, Afro-Latina. But the family is from Puerto Rico. My mom was actually born here. I know some people don't understand, but there are absolutely black people in Puerto Rico. I actually also, my major in college was media studies. My minor was black and Puerto Rican studies. There are absolutely black people in Puerto Rico of African descent, just like in Cuba, just like in DR. And I also know there are some Afro-Latinos who don't recognize their own blackness. That's a whole other video, who don't identify with their African roots. That's a a brainwash, I guess, a societal brainwash. White supremacy did a number on people, but that's a whole different story. But it's undeniable. You see Afro Latinos, like, undeniable roots in Africa, undeniable. Puerto Rico, when we talk about Southside, Bomba and Plena, and undeniable. The influence that African culture has in the Caribbean, undeniable. So that's where my family is from. My dad is white, Jewish. He was actually born and raised in the Bronx as well. His parents from Eastern Europe, the Ukraine area. From what I believe, I never met my grandmother. I was young when my dad's mom died. His father I never met, died before I was born. Me, religiously speaking, as religion, because Jewish is a culture, a people, but also a religion. Religiously speaking, I'm Catholic. Was baptized Catholic. My dad's a cool dude, man. I grew up with both my parents, very politically minded, an activist in the civil rights era. Like, he was out there in the marches, really, in the labor movement, like the rise of labor unions in America and fighting for workers' rights was really, really his thing, and the equality of workers actually getting rights. But yeah, it was my dad who actually taught me about Malcolm X as a kid and Martin Luther King Jr. and the Black Panthers when I was like a teen. My dad had me reading Bobby Seals, Seize the Time. Bobby Seals from the Black Panther had me reading his book, Seize the Time. Taught me about the Young Lords, which was like the Puerto Rican equivalent, the Latino equivalent of the Black Panther movement, and the free breakfast programs and the community programs. And it was actually my dad who played Spanish music in the house. So my dad, being Jewish, had a lot of culture beyond just what his culture was growing up, and reveled in all of that, and wanted to make sure that his kids learned those lessons. Me and my younger brother. My dad played all types of Spanish music in the house. My mom played mostly R&B and soul and disco. So I grew up always with music playing in the crib. My uncle, I say he's my uncle, but technically my great uncle, my grandmother's brother, is late jazz musician Willie Bobo. For those who are into jazz and Latin jazz or whatever, you could look up Willie Bobo, but a very accomplished musician, a very celebrated musician. He died. I was about 3 years old, so I didn't really know him, but you grow up hearing stories and stuff like that, and grow up still listening to his music. His son, Eric Bobo, he just goes by the name Bobo, but his son, Eric Bobo, is my cousin, is a member of Cypress Hill, an actual official member of Cypress Hill. He plays, the timbales, the congas, percussion, like he's a percussionist, but he's a member of Cypress Hill. Played and toured with the Beastie Boys. So my cousin, though I didn't grow up with my cousin grew up on the West Coast, and he's older than me. He's actually my mother's age, so I didn't grow up with him. But come from a musical family. But I used to watch my cousin as afar, and as I got older, me and my cousin had gotten closer. So there's music in my family tree for sure. Grew up in the '80s, loved hip hop. I think it started with Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh. Lottie Dottie was the first one that turned me out. And by 92, I'm about 12 years old, and I'm starting to see shit. I'm starting to see like drug addiction in my neighborhood and in my family. I'm seeing all types of shit on the block where I live, hustlers, crackheads, shootouts. My best friend, Damian Scott, his brother gets murdered. I'm maybe about 10 or 11 years old when his brother dies, when Kevin dies. And that shook us up. That reality hit home then. Like murder, like on our block. You know what I'm saying? It was a dark cloud when that happened. I have an aunt that passed away. Lots of drug use in the family members with AIDS. My older brother in and out of trouble. He eventually served a prison sentence. I got other family members who were hustling in the streets. But really seeing what my older brother went through. I remember visiting him in Rikers while he was on trial, and seeing that made me realize I ain't want to play around with it. It was all around me. This is about 12, 13 years old right now. It's all around me. I ain't want to play around with it. I seen the consequences of it in every which way. I ain't want to participate in it. I came from it. Lived in Flatbush. Went to school from kindergarten to the 8th grade in Brownsville on Rockaway. Right across the street from Lincoln Terrace Park is PS 189. That's if you know the area, like if you know Brooklyn, like traveling, usually you go to school in your neighborhood, especially kindergarten through 8th grade. I went to the same school from kindergarten to 8th, but lived in Flatbush, but went to school in Brownsville. It was like the Warriors every day, trying to figure out how to get home. And, you had the high school kids in Wingate. This the JanSport era. It's like, all right, so if we knew we was on the B12 and we had to pass Wingate, and when the Wingate kids, Wingate was a high school, so they was older than us. When they got on the bus, it's gonna be hell. Especially if your JanSport had strings on it, you had to defend your shit. So it was making sure when we go home, it was enough of us. We kind of rode in packs and did our thing, so nobody really fucked with us. But seeing all types of shit on your way back and forth from school, and you just trying to survive. That's around the age when I started writing raps, when music was the escape from all of that. When I said, yo, I want to do music for the rest of my life. So I'm from it. I seen it, decided I wanted no parts, and just realized how much I love music. And that was the path I wanted. High school, I went to Brooklyn Tech. It's downtown Brooklyn, Fort Greene, right across the street from Fort Greene Park, Fulton Mall. So we all up and down there during high school years. By this time, I'm rapping in the hallway. I'm rapping in the lunchroom. I'm rapping in the staircase. I'm battling whoever. I'm on the train, rapping, battling, going to other hoods, battling, on corners, battling, going to Fat Beats Records in Manhattan. They used to have battles in the store. I'm battling in Fat Beats. Footwork is another store that was owned by Bito Garcia. I'm over there. I started recording in the basement, making demos, then my own mixtapes. First time I was in a real studio, I was with Plain Pat. Plain Pat produced my very first song and recorded, and was the engineer who recorded my very first song ever. It was terrible. If y'all know Plain Pat, or if y'all recognize the name, Plain Pat, what up? The Kid Cudi, the mixtapes, the Kanye mixtapes. Plain Pat really had his name before that, but made his name. Most people know him from his work with Kanye and Good Music. So years before that, before Plain Pat really, really, really got on, he produced and recorded my first song. It was terrible. I hope he never releases it. Shout out to Plain Pat. So, but this is me in high school, like really just involved. I started doing open mics at the New Yorkers Poet Cafe, battling at Wetlands, going to shows at Tramps, and then just performing local shows in the city wherever we can get on a flyer. Open for Natural Elements. I was in a group. We opened for Natural Elements. For those who were in that scene in the 90s and knew who Natural Elements was, Barbito from Stretch and Bob, he would play my records a couple times. There was a handful of times Barbito would play my record, usually like at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I was in a group, and he would play a little record that we did like at 4 o'clock in the morning. It'd be like the last record he played before the show went off the air, but he played it. So that's all throughout the 90s, man. I go to college, to a CUNY, so I stay in New York. I graduated from Hunter College in 2003. It took me 6 years to graduate from college because I was living on my own. I was holding down the job in the mailroom. I was kind of just doing my own thing since I was 18. But yeah, graduated with media studies as my major, Black and Puerto Rican studies as my minor. 2004, I get a chance to write for Complex Magazine. Now I'm starting my career freelancing. Right now I'm doing the freelance hustle from 2004 to 2007, writing for Complex and The Source and Double XL, usually just album reviews. And I'm still working in the mailroom during the day. 2007, 2008, I start writing, and I get a real job. I get my first full-time job in the industry for Scratch Magazine. They folded, and then I get picked up by Double XL Magazine a couple of months later. I'm still rapping. I got records on blogs like Two Dope Boys and That Right. On Smash, you heard that new shout out to all the blogs, that whole blog era. Worked on them early Double XL freshman covers, and really started to use my position in media once I started to get my feet planted to shine light on up and coming rappers where I could, because I was still the new guy. I was young on staff, so they weren't assigning me like the Jay-Z cover story. or the Dr. Dre cover story, the Lil Wayne cover story, the Eminem cover. I wasn't getting those assignments. So, I would write about up and coming rappers where I could. And, it just, if you remember how magazines were laid out, it might just be a little space here, a little space there, maybe a 1-page article. But I'm talking about the cast, from the blog era, really like a Mickey Fax, Mac Millers, the Wiz Khalifas, the J. Cole's, the Nipsey Hussles, the Kendrick Lamar's, the J. Rocks, the Freddie Gibbs, the Big Sean's of the world when they're just starting out. I'm writing about them, and those are the artists that I'm covering. In 2011, I go to MTV News as the hip hop editor and writer, and I'm writing for the website. Of course, I'm writing big stories and about big events, but also again using my position, like where can I shine light? I remember my first week there, I was like, yo, let me call Smoke Dizza. Let me get this Smoke Dizza interview popping at MTV News. I met Sway there. He helps me forge a path and helps me show how to get on camera and operate the camera. And again, at MTV, I'm documenting a lot. I'm telling a lot of stories. I'm shining light on a lot of artists, and very invested in the culture, and knowing that since I'm in a place like MTV, that I have a responsibility to tell our stories the right way. Like, this is when I'm really starting, and even before that, but really at MTV, it's like, there's a responsibility to tell our stories the right way, and to use my position to shine light and to move this thing forward. And of course, again, having a mentor like Sway, another guy by the name of Ramon Dukes, Rebecca Thomas was an editor there. They encouraged that too. You know what I'm saying? By 2015, I go to Genius, and I changed the course of that company, of what it was before I got there and what it was after I got there. I helped absolutely change the course. I'm still currently at Genius as a vice president. I manage a whole team. So when y'all don't see me on camera, I'm in meetings, I'm in one-to-ones, I'm in planning meetings. So I manage a whole team up there. I work with brands. I help launch careers of other music industry people. I've given jobs to folks. I get artists paid on brand deals. I help facilitate, like, X brand wants to work with X artists. I help facilitate that and get the content going and make sure artists get paid. But I really helped to change the course of that company and the perception of that company and build that company up to where it was. You know how many artists we bring up to Genius? You know how many artists, like, first of all, Verified, the yellow background thing, I think we're up to like 1,700 episodes. You know what I'm saying? And from all genres. But you know how many artists' first interviews were on that yellow background? You know how many of those interviews I did? You just don't see, you'll see the content, but you won't see who's actually conducting that conversation because they're off camera. I was for a great deal of them. I might have did the first 200 episodes on my own before we hired somebody else to help out with it. Then, of course, the stuff that you know me for, that you see me for, right? Like the Kendrick Lamar interview, the Wiz Khalifa Taylor All the Dice mixtape, my old show on Genius for the Record. There was a ton of interviews there. Me, Sway, and the Desker used to do a show called Rap Fix Live. My Nicki Minaj Queen interview, my Mariah Carey interview, my DJ Premier interview. My whole thing is, I just be wanting to tell our stories the right way. I love it like y'all love it. Like, real talk. Musically, I dropped 4 albums. Right to Dream, It's Too Late at the Wake, If You Don't, You'll Regret It, and then this past December, We'll Never Be This Young Again. I do the music because I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really do the music. If you've seen, I just did an interview with Curtis King. He just posted this not too long ago. But I don't need the music to do nothing for me. Like, I make money off the 9 to 5. Like, I'm good. I can feed my family. Man, the music is more so therapy for me. So that's why I'm in it. It's not a clout chase. It's not. And if you listen to it, you could tell. Those who like really listen know what it is. I've written a few comic books. Those who know me know I love comic books. I've written a few comic books for Marvel and DC and independently. I work in distro. Genius has a distro and WorldStar has a distro, and I help guide those teams. And I've signed and I've worked with a handful of artists. So we're working with artists. A lot of them maybe you never heard of or whatever. But if you watch my socials, you'll see the artists that are on our rosters. I'm posting them all the time. But, signing artists that we really fuck with, that we believe in, that we think are dope, and then create an opportunity for them. So I'm into that. My whole mission with this channel is to build something. I built for every company that I've worked with. XXL, MTV, Genius. I feel like every place I've been at, I left them way better than when I stepped in. I've added on to each and every one of those and left good work behind. I built for every company. Now I want to build something that's mine too. I don't want to neglect myself, and I want to build community, like how we've been doing. That's what I was talking about in the beginning. That's why I take the time to respond to so many of y'all comments. Yes, I'm about my business. Absolutely, get money. We're not doing this for free. Get money, but I love it. I love hip hop. I love the culture of it. I am of the culture. Was born into it. You know what I'm saying? Like New York City in the 80s, it was nothing like it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Born into it. And still studied it. It still took the time to study it. You know what I'm saying? So I know what I experienced ever since I was a kid. And still took the time to study it, to read the magazines, to read the interviews, to read the liner notes, to learn who was who, to, you know, I can actually record, like I know what artists go through. So when I interview artists, it's not just like I know what it is to create something and put it out in the world. Am I as successful or popular as the artist that I interview? Am I, like, if you take the Kendrick Lamar interview, am I successful as Kendrick? No. But I approach it from I know what it's like to write. I know what it's like to creatively and emotionally have something to say and then put it out in the world and da da da. So at least I can understand the steps and so yeah. I want to see us be dope. I want to see us be better than what we are. I want to see a new generation flourish. You know, when I hang it up, when I retire, when I'm like, all right, I can't do this anymore. Who knows when that'll be? It's a long time from now. But I still want something to be left for the folks that come after me. You know what I'm saying? You don't burn the house down while you in the house. When you're done with the house, you burn the house down. No, you pass it on to your kids, to the next generation. I want to realize my own dreams. I want to help others realize their dreams. I want to inspire. You know what I'm saying? I'm a dad too. I got kids, so I'm definitely family first. I got a wife. I'm family first. Family minded. My parents are getting older. I'm taking care of my parents. You know, that was one of the things with the battles last year. Y'all would hear me and y'all would encourage me from the beginning. I'd be like, damn, sorry I didn't put this video up sooner. My dad's in the hospital. And y'all used to give me like, nah, it's okay, man. Family first. So, you know, it's family first with me. And that's it, man. That's who the fuck Rob Markman is, man. So I was just inspired to make this video to talk with y'all. And again, I want to learn more about y'all. So hit me up in the comments as always. Until the next time. Peace.